Uh, Assalamu alaikum, Quran Study Group participants. Welcome to another session. This is a somewhat of a special session. It's not, as you know, our normal sessions that we have on Sundays. This was called today because of an issue that came up, and I thought the urgency of it was required and to be attended to immediately. So we asked to do it. Today is Saturday, March 16, 2024, and we welcome everyone who's on board or who will come on board or who intend to come on board and not able to come on board. We welcome you all, and inshallah, hopefully, if you're not able to join with us, which I'm sure not many of you won't be, you can see this video later on YouTube, Facebook, or wherever you might find it. Uh, and let me reiterate some things that I've said before. A lot of the information that I'm going to say today, a lot of things that I'll say today, I've repeated them before, I've said them before, and so some people might find it kind of boring. They say, well, we heard him say this and we heard that. Well, it's the same thing in the Quran. You'll read in the Quran where Allah repeats something over and over, and you say, oh, that's kind of boring. Wonder why Allah said that over again. He said it over here. He said it there. It's boring. So you might want to accuse Allah of repeating things and being boring. Well, I don't think that is not a good look. Anyway, again, what I'm re, re, why I'm giving this talk today is for the innocent new Muslim person who either is thinking about becoming a Muslim or has recently became Muslim, he or she, and they have been sucked into this idea of second source and sources for their guidance. In other words, they don't trust the Quran alone. They not that they don't trust, they haven't been presented the idea that the Quran alone is sufficient for them. They've been indoctrinated from the beginning that they need to have the Quran and the Sunnah. Their Shahada implied that when they said Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu Muhammadur Rasulullah. They gave authority to two individuals to legislate for them. They've been told that the best speech is the speech of Allah and the best guidance is the guidance of Muhammad. So they've been told all of that kind of stuff. So this is for that person. And it's for one person. All I'm looking is that one person on earth, on the planet, that will change their way and become a monotheistic person, a person believing in monotheism as pure as they can get it. That's the person I'm targeting. I don't care where you live, what nationality you are, what position you hold in life, or whatever. If I can reach you with this information and convince you, that satisfies my uh, position here. And if I don't, I'm satisfied because when I stand before Allah, I can say, this is what I did. I called the people and I invited the people to your oneness. And this is whether they came or not, that's their business. That's between you and them. It's not mine. Mine was just to call them, to call the people. And so now, before I get into the meat of what I'm talking about today, the position that I want to clarify, let me set it up with some things, some verses that might be a little tedious for some people and so forth. But for the new Muslim, this is important. He hasn't heard these verses. She or he hasn't heard these verses. They haven't heard these ideas. Some of the old school people that's been around and they feel that they know this and they know that, and why bother with this and why bother with that? Although I have to indict some of them too. You know, if I sit you down and examine you, come to find out you might come up short, I might come up short, who knows? But it's not all what you think it is, and that maybe you need some clarification also. But the point is what concern, how Allah is concerned about the single individual. The single individual. Allah talks about the masses. He talks about in chapter 2, verse 213, that mankind was a single nation and they were all together. And he revealed with them the book. But then they became divided after knowledge came to them. They got into schisms and one thing after the other, and they broke away, and each man rejoicing in that which he has. But they were a single nation. So Allah would like to see you all together. He said if it was His will, He would have guided you all. He gave you freedom to make the choice to be guided. But at the same time, He does concern Himself with the so-called little guy, the small man. You see, for example, when we talk about the prophet and the blind man, that the prophet went past this individual apparently to seek the attention of some people that seemed to be more important, and Allah chided him for that. You know, how do you pass this man? This man might have been the one to get down with what it is that you're talking about, purify himself and all of that, and yet you go into these high mighty people. They say, look, we don't have no time for that. It's poetry and all that business. So let me just quote a few verses to shore up this single person concept. Verse number one, I'm going to quote is chapter 51, verses 35 to 36. And again, I'm going to be a little slow because I still have a problem with one of my hands, and so I'm kind of working with one hand. And until that gets straightened out, I'm a little bit behind the eight ball. So, verse chapter 51, verse 35 to 36. 35. Then we brought forth a believer who was there. Allah talks about a town where He was going to send uh, destruction on that town. And so before he intended to destroy the town, he wanted to get out of the town, cause to escape from the town. All the believers that were available, y'all get out of town. Give you fair warning, get out of town. So it says, then when he brought forth such believers as were there, and we found there but one house of Muslims. We found there but one house of Muslims. So Allah spoke about that one house of Muslims. Well, He didn't have to say that. He could say just said, well, most of them didn't believe. Many of them didn't believe. There were not many there that believed. Only a few believed. But He said one house of Muslims. We found there one house of Muslims. And He mentioned that. That was important. That was important enough to see that there was one house of Muslims. So now I'm saying it's important to me that if I reach one Muslim, one brother, one sister who will listen and check the information, not just listen to me, check the verses, because I'm going to give verses for everything I say, ponder them, check them, look at them in context, go look at the Arabic, talk to your sheikh, your scholar, whomever, and see if what I'm saying is correct or it's not. Now, another verse, 36:20 to 27. Chapter 36, verse 20 to 27. Uh, let's see what the concern is there. Chapter 36, verse 20 to 27. So now we're talking about, in the context of this, someone who was apparently in a town where one of the messengers came, and the messenger was trying to get the people to adhere to the message and all that. And there was this one individual who heard that, and he thought maybe, wow, Why are the people acting so silly and so stupid? You know, why don't they give the man a hearing and so forth? So it says there, verse 20, and from a remote part of the city, there came a man running. He said, O my people, follow the apostles. Follow him who asks of you no reward, and they are on the right path. They're the people who are muqtadin. They're guided. So they're on the right path. And what reason have I that I should not serve him who created me and to whom I will be brought back? In other words, it's illogical. Why would I not serve the person who created me and I got to return to him? What I mean, just this common sense. He goes on to say, shall I take besides him gods whose intercession, if the beneficent should desire to afflict me with harm, will avail me naught, nor can they deliver me? Then I shall surely be in clear error. Shall surely be the law mubin, the law mubin. Now you've heard me say that many times. It's on my shirt here. Either we or you on Hudan or the law mubin. So he said he will surely be the law mubin. He goes on to say, surely I believe in your Lord. So hear me. It was said Then it said, it was said to him, enter the garden. He said, would that my people knew how my Lord had forgiven me and made me of the honored ones. So apparently, this person who came inviting the people, calling the people, telling them to listen, give a fair hearing and all that, eventually he died and he was entered into paradise. And he said, "Oh, I wish that my people could see how Allah has rewarded me for my effort." That one person there, Allah spoke about that in the Quran. He didn't have to mention that in this whole Quran. Why would he bring that up? That was important. One person. Chapter 40, verse 28. Chapter 40, verse 28. And that goes to 28 to 33. Chapter 40, verse 28 to 33. And now we have this person who apparently was under the rulership of Pharaoh. And so I don't know who, maybe it was Moses and Aaron that was there, whomever, I'm not sure, but whatever it was, this is what the law says regarding that individual. Chapter 40, verse 28. 28. And a believing man of Pharaoh's people, a believing man of Pharaoh's people, who had hid his faith. He had hid his faith. He didn't let Pharaoh know that he was a believer and all that. Pharaoh would have caught him and probably strung him up and crucified him or whatever. Pharaoh thought he was God. So it says a believing man, this is what Allah is telling us. We didn't have to know that. He didn't have to tell us. Believing man of the Pharaoh's people who hid his faith. Will you slay, he said, will you slay a man because he says, my Lord is Allah? And indeed, he has brought you clear arguments from your Lord. And if he is a liar, on him will be his lie. And if he has brought you the truth, therefore will, if he be truthful, there will befall you some of that which you're threatened with. Surely Allah guides not a people who are prodigal. So he's telling you, why don't you just listen to the man? If the man is truthful, there's no problem. If he's not, there's no problem. It's gonna hurt you none. And but if he is truthful and you don't listen, you might get some of that wrath that he's warning you about. So he goes on to say, "Oh my people." Yours is oh my people, yours is the kingdom of this day. being masters of the land, and who will help you against the punishment of the law if it comes to you? Pharaoh said, I only show you that which I see, and I guide you only to the right way. This is what Pharaoh said. I show you what I see, and I'm the one who I'll guide you to the right way. And he who believed, this person who came running and who believed, said, O my people, surely I fear for you the like of that which befell the parties, the like of that which befell the people of Noah, and the people of Ad, and the people of Thamud, and those after them. And Allah wishes no injustice for his servant. O my people, I fear for you the day of calling out, the day on which you will turn back, retreating, having none to save you from Allah, and whomsoever Allah leaves in error, there's no guide for him. Now, if we go over to 38 to 45, 38. And he who believes said, O my people, follow me. I will guide you to the right way. I will guide you to the right way. O my people, the life of this world is but a passing enjoyment, and the hereafter is the abode to settle. Whoever rather does evil, he is requited only with the like of it. And whoever does good, whether male or female, and he is a believer, these shall have enter the garden to be given therein sustenance without measure. And O my people, how is it that I call you to salvation, and you call me to the fire? Does that make sense? It's not reasonable here now. I call you to salvation, you call me to the fire. You call me to disbelieve in Allah and to associate with him that of which I have no knowledge. And I call you to the mighty, the forgiven. You calling me to invite me to disbelieve in Allah and associate with Allah, stuff that I don't know nothing about. I don't know nothing about it. Without doubt, that verse 43, without doubt, that which you call me to has little to be called to in this world or in the hereafter, and our return is to Allah, and the prodigals are companions of the fire. So, this is what he warns them now. So you will remember what I say to you. You will remember that. One day you're going to come, and when you stand before Allah, you're going to say, wow, that guy told me, he warned me about this. I heard about this before. So it's the same thing I'm saying as well. You will remember what I'm saying to you. The importance of just one person listening and doing the right thing, getting it right. One person, you could be that person. You might be the person that's on the wrong path right now. You have time to change. You have time to listen. You have time to look at these verses of the Quran. You have time to break away from the masses of blind followers. You have time to do that. You will remember what I say unto you. And I entrust my affair to Allah. Surely Allah is seer of his servants. Finally, it says, so Allah protected him from the evil that they planned, and evil chastisement overtook Pharaoh's people overtook Pharaoh's people. And finally, in this vein, uh, 39:27, 39:27, how Allah is concerned about the little guy, the small man, that he will make mention of him. It means a lot. 39:27, up to verse 37. As I say, this might be boring for some of the folks who listen to these lectures and high-powered lectures and tafsirs and things that the people give and all of that. And here's this brother talking this little baby kind of talk and stuff that we've heard before. Like I said again, this is not for you, although it destroys you too. If you're guilty of what I'm saying here, you're destroyed as well. If you're a second source person, you're destroyed as well. Even if you claim you follow the Quran and you dibbling and dabbling and other stuff, which I'll probably get you before I'm out of here today, you're guilty too, but you think you're not. But this is for the innocent person, the person who hasn't heard it before, and they're not prejudiced to the information. Their mind and their hearts are open. So now that one person can listen to this. You, because maybe you think you know, and look, I've heard that before. I got no time. Let me go over and watch this here. You do that, and that's your business. No problem. But it's for you as well. We welcome you to either come or go. And if you have some opposition, we welcome you to come and bring that opposition as well. 39, 27 to 37. 27 to 37. And certainly we have set forth for men in this Quran similitudes of every sort that they may mind. Allah said we set forth for man in this Quran similitudes of every sort that they may mind. An Arabic Quran without any crookedness that they may guard against evil. An Arabic Quran. Quran, this is what Allah is talking about. We set forth in this Quran similitudes of what kind? Every kind. So why? So that you might be mindful. There's nothing that now you don't have a similitude, so you can say, oh, I didn't know, I'm not mindful and all that. An Arabic Quran without any crookedness that they may guard against evil. Allah sets forth the parable, now he goes on to set forth the parable of a man belonging to parties different with one another, and a man devoted wholly to one man, are the two alike in condition. Praise be unto Allah, nay, most of them know not. So Allah tells you that which is better? You belong to one man, a party of people, a group of people, and they're different about this and different about that. Brother, did you see the moon? No, I didn't see the moon. I saw the moon. You didn't see the moon. Brother, how many rakats you make? Three. How many you make? Two. I don't know, two. Brother, when you break your fast, did you blow your nose? No, I didn't. Didn't you? What did you do? I don't know. How did I make up this year? You do this way, according to this way. So they all different. Or you belong to one person who this is what they say and this is what it is. This is what the one person say, and this is what it is. How are the two alike? Allah asks you, are the two alike in condition? Praise be to Allah, nay, most of them don't know. Most of you don't know that. Surely thou will die, and they will die also. Then surely on the day of resurrection, you will contend one with another before Allah on the day of resurrection. Now you're gonna stand there running off of the mouth arguing. Well, brother, you told me so and so. Well, brother, this guy told me. Well, this sheikh told me. Oh, however that might be, I don't know if that's the way it is, but Allah says you will contend. However you contend, that's what you'll be doing. You'll have a lot to be talking about. So it goes on to say 32. Who is more unjust than he who utters a lie against the law? Anybody more unjust than that? You utter a lie against the law. You utter a lie against the law. Who's more unjust than that? And denies the truth. You utter a lie against the law, number one, and you deny the truth when it comes to him. Is there not in hell an abode for such disbelievers? You deny the truth. Now we know that the Quran is the truth. Al-Haq. 47 verse 2. That which is given to Muhammad, that is the truth from your Lord. That's this one verse right there. Muhammad's name is there. Whoever this Muhammad individual is, Muhammad is there. That which is revealed to Muhammad, that is the truth from your Lord. We know that that's the Quran. So now you deny the Quran. The Quran alone. Allah didn't say you deny the Quran and something else. The Quran is something else. He denies the truth when it comes to him. And he who brings the truth and accepts the truth, such are the dutiful people. The people who bring the truth with truthful speech. They're talking to you with truthful speech. Well, how are they doing that? Because they're quoting the verses from the Quran. They're quoting the verses from the Quran. And the people who hear those verses quoted from the Quran, very plain, very clear, don't need tafsir, don't need somebody to sit down and explain to them, break down the Arabic terms and all that. This is very straight and upboard for you. If you want to go into that deeper research and all of that, it's no problem. You can do that. It's not going to change what is basic and fundamental and clear about these verses. It's not going to change it. It's just going to enhance it for you. So he who brings the truth and he who accepts the truth, uh, these are the people that are dutiful. These are the people who are dutiful. And who is more, verse 34, they shall have with their Lord what they please. Such is the reward of the doers of good. 35, that Allah may ward off from them the worst of what they did and give them the reward for the best of what they did. Is not Allah sufficient for his servant? Is not Allah sufficient for his servant? Allah is not sufficient for you. You need someone else to help you. He needs to bring in an associate to tell you, look, I'm going to tell the people to do this, but I don't have time to be giving them details and all that. Can you do me a favor? Can you get the details to them for that? Well, I thought you were sufficient. Yeah, but I mean, I'm just sufficient for that area. You come and help me over here. Well, that means you're not sufficient. You need help. You need help. You need somebody to explain something that you didn't explain. That contradicts this verse. Is not Allah sufficient for his servant? And they seek to frighten you with those besides him. Brother, you need this the hadith and the sunnah, and you need all of these sheikhs and the people of knowledge and the people of the learning, and you need to check with the Sahaba, original Sahabas and all. You need all of that. What are you talking about? You can't just trust what Allah said right here. And the law said that, you understand, but that ain't sufficient for you. So Allah said they try to frighten you with those besides him. Oh, we're gonna do that. Look what everybody else is doing. We can't follow what these brothers over here, these brothers and sisters who talking about they just follow the Quran. When that's not good enough for us. Look what they said, you need all this other stuff. And whosoever Allah leads in error, there's no guide for him. And whom Allah guides, there is none that can lead him astray. Is not Allah mighty, the Lord of retribution? So much for that. The point there now, we want to show the concern that Allah has for the little guy, the single guy, the small guy, uh, the guy that Allah says rise by two or single and ponder. So because you're alone, maybe in your position. You might be in a society, in a town, and all that, and you're the only one holding to this particular belief. Don't let that frighten you. Don't let people scare you. Don't be intimidated by that kind of nonsense. The law praises your conduct for that. In other words, he magnifies you and he will enhance your guidance for that conduct. So Shaitan will whisper to you and tell you that no, what you're doing ain't nobody else doing that. You're the only one doing it. So, uh, again, let me remind this new person, this new person. This is the person I'm talking to. My lecture is for the new person. Anybody else who maybe if you can't get anything out of this lecture, it's no problem. You can look at something else. I want the person who can gain something from this lecture to ponder on this wherever they are on the planet. I'm confident that there'll be one person on earth that will listen to this and be thoughtful. I'm confident pretty much of that. So, alone, chapter 6, verse 94 to 95. I said this before in my last lecture, and I don't want to remind you that when you start getting down with this party spirit stuff and thinking that, oh, look, you're the only one doing this, and look what all these people are doing, and so forth and so on. You must be reminded of chapter 6, verse 94 to 95. 94 to 95. What does it say? And who is more unjust than he who forges a lie against the law or says, revelation has been granted to me, while nothing has been granted to him? And whoever said, and he who says, I can reveal the like of that which the law has revealed. And if thou couldst see when the wrongdoers are in the agonies of death, Allah is telling you, if you could see those wrongdoers when they're in the agonies of death, and the angels stretch forth their hands, saying, yield up your souls. This day you are awarded a chastisement of disgrace because what? Because you spoke against a law other than the truth. And you scorned his messages. You spoke against a law other than the truth, and you scorned his messages. Verse 95. And certainly you have come to us, what? And certainly you have come to us one by one as we created you. This is the way you showing up now on the day of judgment. All that stuff you had with the crowd, the Ummah, the Jamaat, and all that business, that they're not there. Your Jamaat is not there. Your Ummah and all of that you had, the brothers and conferences and all of that, they're not there for you. And certainly you have come to us, what? One by one as we created you at first. And you have left behind your back what we gave you. And we see not with you the intercessors about whom you asserted that they were associates in respect to you. Certainly the ties between you are now cut off, and that which you asserted has failed you. So now remember that. You're gonna come to Allah one by one as He created you. Nobody's gonna be with you. So you best to be a single-minded thinking person right now, a critical thinking individual right now. Stand out from the group. Don't just follow blindly the group. Be independent in your thinking and critical in your thinking. That's what Allah wants you to do as an individual, because He's going to hold you account as an individual. He's going to hold you accountable. 16:111. 16:111. This is for the new person. You just thinking about becoming a Muslim, and you just took your Shahada, but you thought that was the Shahada and all of that. Go back and get rid of that. Look at some of the things on my channel. There's other channels where people are telling you that this Shahadatain, this double Shahada is wrong. Get rid of that. So this is for you. Think, open your mind and think before you get too far in, and now you become brainwashed, brain dead. You don't want to do that. This is an appeal to you. One person. I'm again feeling very confident that one person will listen. Chapter 16, verse 111. On the day when every soul will come pleading for itself, and every soul will be paid in full what it has done, and there will not be dealt with unjustly. Every soul will what? Come pleading for itself. Every soul. What soul? Every soul. I don't care who the person was. I don't care whether you're the king of the United States, you're the president of the United States, the king of Egypt, the king of England, the queen, the this, the that. Whoever you are, you will come one by one pleading for yourself. You're the king. King of what? Allah is the creator of the heavens and the earth. What are you the king of? What are you the king of? You will eat and die in the yellow period of time, and you'll be gone. You're not the king of nothing. What are you talking about? You will come one by one pleading for yourself from this hellfire. Be careful. Chapter 19, verse 95. 1995. This is before we get into the meat of what I'm here for today. Just to kind of set it up, and some of you will get tired and you'll run away, and we need you to run. Whoever will run away, we need you to run because apparently you aren't here for the right purpose. And so if you hear and you run away for no other reason other than, this is boring or whatever, well, then you run. If you didn't come, well, we welcome you and we know that perhaps you couldn't come, but you'll listen and all that and you hear this. But the person who wants to shut their mind down to these verses that I'm reciting to you, you go right ahead and just do that. 1995. 1995. And every one of them will come to him on the day of resurrection, what? Fardan, alone. Every one of them will come to him on the day of resurrection. Every one of them, what? Alone, alone, alone. Where's your mother? Where's your father? Where's your relatives? Where's your community? Nobody. You're alone by yourself. What did you do? Didn't I give you hearing, sight, and intellect? Yeah. Did you use it? Why did you follow this? Why did you do that? You're going to be questioned. What excuse are you going to say? Oh, Allah, we were not of the mushrikeen. You're going to call Allah a liar. Allah saying you were a mushrik. You didn't listen to my word. You trusted other people. You went after the crowd. You went for the rah, rah, rah stuff. The big looked like it was something more important than the small guy over here who's following the dictates of the Quran and doing the best you can. And so now you will be questioned, every one of you. And again, finally, on this note, 23, 101, 23, 101, 23, 101 to 118. Quite long, but let's read it. 23, 101. So when the trumpet is blown, there will be no ties of relationship among them. And that day, on that day, nor will they ask of one another. Allah says, when the trumpet is blown, there will be no ties of relationship among one another, and you won't ask about one another. Excuse me, where's the Sheikh so? Excuse me, where's my mom? Where's my pop? Oh, have you seen my kids? You won't ask about nothing. That's what Allah said. Now, you're not going to call Allah a liar, will you? You're going to say, oh, he can't be that mean. He won't let me ask about the, how would Allah be that mean? Well, Allah is a loving Allah. He will leave that and let me ask about my moms and all of that. Allah says, so when the trumpet is blown that day, ties of relationship among them that day will be dismissed. You will not ask of one another. Those of you who have done good deeds, who good deeds are heavy, those are the successful ones. Your good deeds are heavy. And those whose good deeds are light, whose good deeds are light, those are the ones who have lost their souls to abiding in hell. The light deeds. You didn't do enough. You thought you was sufficient. You just did so and so and so. You fasted in Ramadan, and that was 29, 30 days. And so you was trying to get taqwa. And then for the 11 months, you ain't do nothing. So where's your taqwa? Where'd you get your taqwa for the 11 months after that? You didn't fast nothing. You was just doing a lot of foolishness. So you thought you was doing good deeds, like going to church on Sunday and going to the mosque on Sunday to pray and be showing up. And everybody said, "Oh, brother, I've seen you a long time. Yeah, I'm here. Why? Let me break fast. You got some dates and whatever." So all your good deeds will be light, and you'll be in hell. The fire will scorch their faces, and therein they will serve will be in severe affliction. Were not my messages recited to you, but you used to reject them? Look what Allah says. Wasn't my messages, this is what we're doing today. We're reciting the messages of Allah to you today, and we're telling you that you should be following the messages of Allah only, not the messages of somebody else. We're not talking about the messages of somebody else. I'm not here talking about my message and what I think is right and all of that. I'm quoting to you verses from the Quran. So Allah will ask you, well, you will remember what I said. Were not the messages of Allah recited to you, but you rejected them. I ain't got no time, brother. This Quran alone thing, I don't listen to that. Allah's telling you right now, how silly could you be? Don't you see how clear that is? What messages of Allah are you listening to other than the revelation that Allah has sent down? What messages of Allah do you have? Well, we're going to find out in a few minutes that somebody's advocating some messages other than the Quran. They will say, Our Lord, adversity overcame us, and we were an erring people. Our Lord, take us out of it. Then, if we return, we shall be unjust. Get us out of this. He will say, Be gone therein, and speak not to me. Now Allah says, get out of here. So I says, oh, no. Allah says, get out of here. Don't speak to me. What are you talking about? Take me out of this. Get out of here. There ain't no time for no taking out of this now. Those days are gone. You had the time when you were in the earth. You had the time to get yourself right. Surely there was a party of my servants who said, Our Lord, we believe, so forgive us and have mercy on us. And thou art the best of those who show mercy. But you ridiculed them. The people who follow this Quran alone, who ask Allah to forgive them for the faults that they have done, for the nonsense that they used to do, and have mercy on them. And you made mockery of them. This Quranist, Quraniyun, you did that. Allah is telling you pretty much, this is the hundreds of years ago, what you're doing right now today. It's just like one day to Allah, so it doesn't matter. You counting hundreds of years, it's just like one day. It's one day Allah sees it as one time. And he's telling you what you're doing in your own time. You'll be thousands of years. If you live from now, it'll be that one time you'll be doing whatever the Quran says that you'll be doing. But you ridiculed them until they made you forget the remembrance of me. And you used to laugh at them. Surely I have rewarded them this day because they were patient and they are achievers, the achievers. He will say, How many years did you tarry in the earth? They will say, We tarried a day, a part of a day. But ask those who keep account. He will say, You tarried but a little if you but knew. You're a little 100 years old that you did. Well, just a little bit. What are you talking about? That was just a little bit. This is a part-time day. The day after this, the eternal day, will be the last day. That's eternal. This is part-time. Why are you getting caught up in all this part-time mess and fooling around like this? What is not, I don't understand. It's illogical. Do you then think that we have created you in vain? That you will not return to us? You think that? So exalted be Allah, the true King. No God is there but He, Lord of the throne. Lord of the throne. And whoever invokes, this is what Allah said now, whoever, doesn't matter who it is, whoever, Muhammad is included in this. Whoever invokes besides Allah another God, he has no proof of this. That's number one. You ain't got no proof of that. Whatever you invoke, you got no proof of it. That's what Allah says. You got no proof. We'll bring it. That's no proof. The Quran rejects it. The Quran rejects it. There's no proof. He has no proof of this. His reckoning is only with his law. Surely the disbelievers will not be successful. They won't be successful. Somebody said, well, look like these disbelievers are taking charge and they're overthrowing. No, they're not successful at all. They have their fake religion and all of that, and that's what they're doing. And this is the thing that they're propagating. And we're looking at the Quran, and the Quran is telling us these people are losers. And say, My Lord, forgive me and have mercy, and thou art the best of those to show mercy. So again, we see about the little man and being alone in your position, not to worry, not to worry. Now, we're getting close to what we came here for today. But again, like I said, this is for the person who's got patience. This is for the person who sincerely wants to know your life is at stake, your soul is at stake. If you're in a hurry, there's no problem. You go ahead and do what you got to do. Uh, this is not going nowhere. This Quran is going to be right here. It's not going nowhere. You cannot avoid it. Wherever you are, death will find you. And then everything that's being said, you will be held accountable for. You will confront it. So you might as well calm yourself down, listen, listen. Maybe if you can't listen to this whole tape at one time, you pause it and you come back and you take notes, or you do whatever you please. You know, my job is my job as a da'i. I'm a da'i. I'm to invite you. Practice for myself, try to get my own soul together, my life right for me, and invite you, the next man. And so this is what I'm doing. I'm taking my time. I don't need to take my time. I don't have to. I could be somewhere on a cruise, on a this, somewhere across the seas, laying out on a beach somewhere, chilling out. I could be doing that. I got plenty of time to do that right now if I want to make that choice. My choice is to sit here with you and to try to invite you to this. This is what I love doing. I love this better than anything that could be offered to me in the world. So now, invoking besides Allah another God, another God. Let's see what Allah says about that. Chapter 37, verse 35 to 36. I think we might have went over that. Let's take a look. I think we might have did that one already, but did we do that?
Yeah, we done it.
No.
Yeah, yes, we did.
37, 35 to 36?
Yeah, welcome another God. That's 30.
Yeah, okay. So I think we did that. So let's look at 23, 116 to 117.
We did that. We did that also.
We did that also?
We just went through it, yeah.
They indeed were arrogant.
Yes.
We did
They have
that?
no proof of another God.
No, 23, 116 to 117. I don't think we did that.
Yes, we did 23, 101 to 118.
All right, so we did 37, 35 to 36. No, let's take a look at it. I got confusion in this room here.
Right.
These guys are confused. You know, they're trying to create fitna.
You did not say. Yeah,
these are some fitna guys in here. Yeah. 37, 35 to 36. 37, 35 to 36. They indeed were arrogant when it was said to them, there is no God but Allah. When it was said, La ilaha illallah, the people were arrogant. Whoever these people were, they were arrogant. They're the same way today. They're arrogant. When you say La ilaha illallah, they're arrogant. They want to hear Muhammadur Rasulullah. That's what they want to hear. You go somewhere in a masjid and you would stand up and they ask you, brother, can you call the adhan? They don't know who you are. And they just ask you and you stand up there innocently thinking that, oh, everybody believes the same. And you say, La ilaha illallah. And you don't say, Muhammadur Rasulullah, Ashhadu, or whatever you're saying. They're arrogant. They'll run you out of town. They don't want to hear that. So they indeed were arrogant when it was said to them, there is no God but Allah, and said, shall we give up our gods for a mad poet? Should we give up our gods for this mad poet? But we got all these gods we got. We're going to give them up for this guy here. Oh, you nuts. We think that we got time for that. 28, 87 to 88. 28, 87 to 88. We're talking about now the dangers of bringing in us an associate God. Just a few verses here. It's not much. For me, I can get carried away and get overpowered with stuff. So I'm just trying to deal with a few verses here. Not to overload. 28, 87 to 88. And let them not turn thee away from the messages of Allah after they have been revealed to thee, and call to thy Lord, and be not of the polytheists. Allah is telling the messenger here, the prophet, Let them not turn you away from the messages of Allah. From what? The messages of Allah, not from the messages of Allah and something else, not from Allah and His Messenger, not from the Quran and Sunnah. Let them not turn you away from the messages of Allah after they have been revealed to thee. And call to thy Lord and be not of the mushrikeen. Don't be of the mushrikeen, people who want to turn away and have a second source. 88. And call not with Allah any other God. There's no God but He. Everything will perish but He. His is the judgment, and to Him you will be brought back. Call not another God with Allah. Don't call another God with Allah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu Muhammadur Rasulullah. What are you talking about? You're talking about two entities now. One is going to give you the best speech, and then the Shadow La ilaha, oh, the best speech. Shadow Muhammad or Rasulullah, oh, the best guidance. That's two gods. What are you talking about? Is not Allah sufficient for you? Sufficient for His servant? Again, we're talking to the new person, the new person. Like I said, some of you folks will feel, why is he taking all this time doing this here, talking? I'm saying for the new person, the innocent person. You ain't got no time for them. You too busy with somebody else. I got time for that little guy, that small guy. You see, I was one of them. I was one of those small guys. Somebody took the time with me. Somebody took the time with me. They didn't have to take the time with me and come fooling around with me. I was some little street fool acting stupid in the street. And somebody took their time and came and plucked me up out of this. The same thing with some of the brothers I know. So you take the time with that person. Now, I got a friend of mine sitting right here, a couple of friends of mine, they're sitting right here now. That I've known them for 30, 40, 50 years. We took the time. We took the time to sit together. So I know how that works. So I'm happy for that. So I have the time. Two things. So 38, 5 to 8. 38, 5 to 8. The people are not happy with one God. They're not happy with one authority. They're not happy with one authority. They're not happy, simple as that. So 38, 5 to 8. Look what it says. So if you read in the context, you read it, but it says, make ye the gods a single God. Surely this is a strange thing. Make he the gods a single God? You mean to tell me all these gods we have, and you saying no, they're all wrong, it's just one God? This is a strange thing. We never heard this, Quran alone. We never heard this Quran alone. This is some strange thing here, this Quran alone business. You want us to take and get rid of all our hadith and sunnah, all these books and stuff that we got, and all the stuff we spent in these universities, and money we spent, and being propped up by the Saudis and by different entities to spread this religion that we're spreading. You want us to get rid of that and the nice living that we're doing and all that, to get down with you little guys who you ain't got nothing. What you got? Yeah. You just got to talking this Quran thing. You don't have nothing. So make ye the gods a single God. Surely it's a strange thing. And the chiefs among them said, and you've heard me say this before, so this is not new. And the chiefs among them said, go steadily and hear to your gods. Surely this is the thing intended. It's intended for you to have all these different gods. Go listen to them. These are the big shots, the sheikhs and all that. Go follow this hadith and sunnah and all that. It's intended for you to follow hadith and sunnah. How are you going to practice Islam without hadith and sunnah? the Sunnah is more important than the Quran. Go follow that. Go listen to that. This is the word this is translating right here today for for the little guy who didn't know. So, wow, I didn't know that. For real? Is this what's going on? Take your time and check. You will be glad you did. It'll save your life, save your soul. Take your time and check. One person. We never heard of this in the form of faith. This is nothing but a forgery. We never heard this before. Has the reminder been, has the reminder been revealed to him from among you, from among us? Nay, they are in doubt as to my reminder. Nay, they have not yet tasted my chastisement. They have not yet tasted my chastisement. Has not the reminder been revealed to him from among us? They're in doubt about my reminder. And what is the reminder? What is the reminder? We look at it over there in chapter 20, verse 123, where Allah talks about, get thee out of here. Surely guidance will come to you from me. Whoever follows my guidance will have no grief and no fear. He will not go astray. And whoever turns away from my reminder, the reminder is Al-Huda, is the Quran, my reminder. We have it right there. Let's look at it. Chapter 123, 2123. 2123. You got 124. Let's look at the one before it. This is what it says. Then the verse we just said, have they forgotten my reminder? He said, go forth from here all. This is when Allah is expelling you from paradise, from the beginning. One of you is the enemy to the other. One of you is the enemy to the other. So there will surely come to you a what? Guidance from me. Whoever follows what? My guidance. Whoever what? Follows my guidance. That's Muhammad is included there. Muhammad is included. Remember that. Muhammad is included. Just say that over and over again until you get that right. Muhammad is included. Muhammad is included. Once you get that right, you'll get it out of your system now. You won't make him a little demigod like what you're doing. You'll get rid of him as a demigod. Look, whoever follows my guidance, he will not go astray nor be unhappy. He will not be the law, the law. And whoever turns away from my reminder for him is surely a straightened life, and we shall raise him up blind on the day of resurrection. Whoever turns away from my reminder. So I thank you for bearing with me with that long uh, uh, advice given for the new person who will take time and look at these verses I'm saying to you and think about them. But now the meat of the situation is, the other day I was listening to something and a video popped up and it said, I checked it out. It said, they said that the prophet left with you two things, the Quran and Sunnah. And I said, what? And so I went and looked at it and I said, two things, Quran and Sunnah. I said, if I recall correctly, when I was a Sunni Muslim, they had controversy about this issue. It was supposed to be the last speech when I was a Sunni, the last speech that the Prophet gave, his farewell speech, and witnessed by more people than any people witnessed anything that he ever said. Yet they got it wrong. They had three different versions. I left with you the Quran, one. I left with you the Quran and Sunnah, two. I left with you the Quran and my Aklo Bait, the Aklo Bait, three, something of that vein. So that was the controversy way back then. But so I heard that and I said, wow, a new person hearing that, he's going to be frightened to death. He's going to think that this is what he has to do. So I said, okay, let me deal with that. But then I saw another clip almost right behind that, a few hours later, I saw another clip. And this guy said the same thing, but he went a little further. And I said, let me deal with his clip because he wanted to maybe show a little more that he had more insight about this idea and why you should just follow the Quran and Sunnah and turn away from the Quran. So let me play this clip and then we'll talk about it. We'll look at it. Can we play that clip?
Azza wa Jal says in Quran, اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم. Allah says, today I have perfected your religion. The Prophet of Allah says in the authentic hadith, I left you with two things. So long as you hold on to them, you will never, ever, ever go astray. No matter what age you live in. I leave you with the Quran and I leave you with my Sunnah. So long as you hold on to these two things. Not Quran and Sunnah how you understand it. Not Quran and Sunnah what you think is good and bad and let me... No. Quran and Sunnah how the Prophet of Allah and his companions understood it and applied it in their lives. That Quran and Sunnah. Your Quran and Sunnah is confusing the world. No. I'm talking about the Quran of Rasulullah ﷺ and the Sunnah of Rasulullah ﷺ that changed and conquered humanity. That Quran and Sunnah. You come back to that.
Okay, so that's what he said. I have everything that he said written down here. I wrote it down word for word so I can deal with it. Even though I had to use my left hand to write it, but for me it was worthy of that effort, and so I put it down word for word so we can deal with it for the new guy. So here's what he said. Allah says in Quran, this is what he says. Allah says in Quran, Allah says, today I have perfected for you your religion. He stopped right there. Today I have perfected for you your religion. Now, Allah talks about those who hide the truth, who don't give the full truth. And that's not what the verse says. The verse goes further. It says, completed my favor for you, perfected your deen, completed my favor, and chosen for you Islam as your deen. So perfected is something that's perfect. How are you going to add something else to it if it's perfect? If it's perfect, I have perfected for you your religion. And what? Completed my favor for you. My favor is completed for you. It's complete. That includes for the prophet, he's included also. There's some information for him too. It's complete for him, it's perfect for him. He has to follow it the way it is. And chosen for you, Islam is your deen. So now we're looking at the verse, brother just put it up there, chapter 5, verse 3. Let's look at chapter 6, verse 115. And chapter 6, verse 115. Chapter 6, verse 115. And maybe goes into 116. Chapter 6, verse 115. It's going to be 114 on the screen. Shall I then seek a judge other than Allah? This is what the messenger is saying. Shall I then seek a judge other than Allah? When he it is who has revealed, who has sent down to you the book, what? Fully detailed, fully detailed, fully explained, fully detailed. And those to whom we have given the book know that it is revealed uh, uh, know that it is revealed by their Lord with truth, and so be not of the disputers. So here's the messenger saying, shall I seek a judge for a judgment? I'm seeking a judge to get a judgment on something. I want an answer. I want to solve a situation. Other than Allah, when He has what? Sent the book. The book is fully detailed. It's going to have all the judgments, all the requirements, everything I need in it. Everything that I need to know is going to be in the book. So why would I seek somewhere else for judgment, for clarification, for anything when the book is given fully detailed? And then the next verse says, the word of your Lord has been accomplished truly and justly. There's none who can change his words, and he is the hearer and the knower. So the word of your Lord has been accomplished. What accomplished? It doesn't require nothing else to help it out. Doesn't require anything to explain it. You don't need no sunnah. You don't need the Quran and Sunnah according to these verses here. According to these verses here. And according to that, he clipped off first a part of the first verse. We don't care. We let him clip that and get away with that. We'll give it to him that he meant the whole thing. He indicted himself by saying it doesn't matter. He indicts himself. Perfected, completed my favor, perfected. So he indicted himself for being what? Lying. Now, I normally don't call people liars. I don't normally call, especially if I don't know you. If I don't know you, I can't call you a liar because I'm not around you that much to say, oh, this guy just lies all the time. He's a liar. But about this issue, I'll say that you're lying. You're lying. And I'll even enclose that by saying, regarding this issue, you're a liar. Regarding this issue, you're a liar. You're lying and you're a liar regarding this. I don't know what else you do. You might be truthful in whatever you do, but you're a liar here. You're a liar. You're lying against the law. And we're gonna see how we execute that down the road. So now we show you that he says, I have perfected for you your religion. He says, he goes on to say, the Prophet of Allah says in the authentic hadith, he says, the Prophet of Allah says in the authentic hadith. What do you mean authentic hadith? What does the word authentic mean? It means undisputed in origin. It's of undisputed, uh, it's without dispute in origin, genuine. To have a genuine original that nobody can dispute it. So, what hadith do you have that you attributing to the prophet that is genuine, undisputed, and you have the original? You have the original. Where'd you get that from? So if you say you did, and you're saying this hadith, we're going to show you that this it's a lie still. Even if we give it to you that it's a genuine original and it meets all of that, it's a lie, and you advocating it, you're lying, and you're a liar regarding this. Regarding this, you're a lie. You should have checked this out the same way I'm checking it out right here. You can check it out the same way. You didn't have to propagate that, but now you're doing it because of whatever position you feel that you have and you have to support and whatever, that's your business, not mine. So look, the Prophet of Allah says in an authentic hadith. Now, what did the hadith say? I left with you two things. So long as you, this is what he said. I'm quoting from the transcript, what he said there. I left with you two things. So long as you hold on to them. I left with you what? Two things. So long as you hold on to them. Two things, them. I have here Quran alone. Quran alone. You have two things, them. So you got something different. I got verses here to support Quran alone. You got two things. I don't know what you got, but we'll take a look and see. I left with you two things. So long as you hold on to them, you will never ever go astray. You would what? Never, ever, ever. He says, never, ever, ever. Never, ever, ever go astray. No matter what age you live in. No matter what age you live in. That's from now until the day of Qiyamah. If you hold on to Quran and Sunnah, you will never, ever, ever go astray from now until Qiyamah. Oh, so let's take a look at the Quran and see what it is. In chapter 2, verse 185, what does it say there? 2, 185. Let's see if there's two things there. Can you put that on the screen there, Professor? My good friend June 8, the admin, man, he is taking care of business. 2185, the month of Ramadan, whatever that is, I'm not going to debate and argue and get caught up in that hodgepodge of mess about whether it means month or hot, heat, whatever. I don't care nothing about none of that. Personally, for me, all these so-called five pillars of Islam, I don't do what? None of them. None of them. How many do I do? None. None. I don't do no five pillars of Islam from this Sunnism religion. I don't do none of them. None of them are supported by the Quran. It's already been made clear. But here's what he said, just to show that he's wrong. The month of Ramadan is that in which what? The Quran was revealed, was sent down. The Quran was sent down, not the Quran and Sunnah. Not the Quran and Sunnah. What does it say? A, can you move on? A, what? A guidance for men, a guidance for men, and clear proofs of the guidance and the criterion. So whoever you is present in the month, he shall fast therein, and whoever is sick or on a journey shall fast like number of other days. Allah desires ease for you, and He desires not hardship for you, and He desires that you should complete the number of days, the number, and that you should exalt the greatness of Allah for what? For having guided you, and that you should that you may give thanks. You should exalt the greatness of Allah for what? For having guided you. Guided you includes the Prophet. So the month of Ramadan, the Quran was sent down, not the Quran and Sunnah. There was no Quran and Sunnah, the Quran by itself. It was guidance and Al-Huda, clear proofs of the guidance, Bayan, and it was Furqan. It distinguished everything, the truth and falsehood, and one thing after the other. It did everything it's required to do. Didn't need any Sunnah. And that was to the Prophet himself saying that as the messenger reciting the message. So there's no Sunnah there. Let's see if we can find Sunnah somewhere else. What about 619? Let's see if we can find the Sunnah there. Chapter 6, verse 19. Chapter 6, verse 19. Say, what thing is weightiest in testimony? Say, Allah is witness between me and you. Allah is witness between me and you. Keep this in mind. Allah is witness between me and you. And this, the Quran has been revealed to me that with it, not them, not with them, them, is not with them, those. With it, I may warn you and whomsoever it reaches, it reaches until the day of, like he said, forever, 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 until the day you stand before Allah. This Quran, not Quran and Sunnah. Do you really bear witness that there's other gods with Allah by bringing in some second source and so forth? We went through that in other lectures. Say, I bear not witness. No tashahud business here. Not tashahud. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu Muhammadan Rasulullah. That's your tashahhud. Now, I don't do no tashahhud. I bear not witness. Say, he is only one God, and surely I am innocent of that which you set up with him, the Sunnah and all that business. I'm innocent of that. That rejects his two sources right there again. The law is called to bear witness with against the two source thing. This is for the brother, the sister who was just coming in. Maybe you didn't see this verse. Maybe you didn't understand this verse. This verse is in the Quran you got. Go in your room and get the Quran off the shelf, dust it off the cloth that you got on it, or whatever you're doing. Get it down and turn to this verse here. It's going to be in your Quran. It's not a special Quran I got here. The brother the Hamza got the special Quran. I don't know where you got that from. This in your Quran. It's going to be in the Arabic. Go take it to your sheikh, the scholar, anybody, and ask them that this Quran alone has been left. There's no Sunnah and all that business there. Chapter 5, verse 101. Let's see if we can find some Sunnah. 5101. 5101. Chapter 5, verse 101. O you who believe, ask not about things which if made known to you will give you trouble. And if you asked about them when what? When the Quran is being revealed, not the Quran and the Sunnah, not when the Quran and the Sunnah is being implemented, not when the Quran and the Sunnah is being implemented. When the Quran is being revealed, they will be made known to you. Your questions will be made known to you in the Quran. Allah pardon you for the dumbness that you were doing. This and Allah is forgiving and merciful. He pardoned you for doing that. So that means now that the prophet himself, after the revelation of the Quran, the prophet lived on after he got the last revelation from the Quran. He didn't drop dead as soon as he recited the last revelation. Ramadan die right there. He didn't die right there. He lived. Nobody could come to him and ask him a question about anything because it was in the Quran. He's not to answer any questions after the Quran. The Quran has the answers right in there. He's not to answer any question. If he had Sunnah, if he had some revelation second to that, he could use that revelation to answer questions. He could say, oh, it's not in the Quran, you didn't see it there. Well, here's the answer to that. This is what you do, so and so and so and so and so. He was not permitted to do that. He was only based on this verse here to answer based on the Quran. And after the Quran, no more questions to ask him about anything. There's no hadith and sunnah there. So we don't find it there. Chapter 12, verse 1 to 3. Let's see if we can find the sunnah that the brother is talking about forever and ever. The sunnah that's forever and ever. Two things forever and ever. Let's see if the Quran is backing him up. So far, he's losing. We just need one and he's lost. He's going to hell on one. He's a liar. He's a liar regarding this. I don't know what else he does in his life to call him. He might be truthful, but here he's lying. He's a liar. Simple as that. He's a liar. And he's an enemy of Allah. And so therefore he's my enemy as well. Chapter 12, verse 1 to 3. Chapter 12, verse 1 to 3. Chapter 12, verse 1 to 3. Allah, and the Sea, I'm not knowing what that is. That's Aleph, Lam, Ra, whatever. I'm not going to get into that. What I'm interested in, these are the verses of the book that make manifest. These are the verses of the book that make manifest, Al-Mubin, that are clear. Surely we have revealed it, an Arabic Quran, that you may understand, not Hadith and Sunnah, not Quran and Sunnah. We haven't revealed Quran and Sunnah there. We narrate to you the best of narratives. We narrate to you the best of narratives. There's nothing you can narrate better than this. In that we have revealed to thee this Quran. Though before this Quran, you were of the Gafilin. You were of the people unaware. Before the Quran, you were unaware. You didn't know nothing. So whatever you got information about anything is from the Quran. And you practice and establish the Quran. And your sunnah, whatever sunnah you did, was sunnah based on doing what the Quran told you to do. It's the same thing we're doing. It's the same thing. There's no special sunnah separate and distinct from the Quran that legislates for you. Nothing. Nothing. What are you talking about? You got no proof of that. Let's keep going. Want to get stronger on you, just in case you wiggling and wobbling and thinking, well, brother, maybe misunderstanding this verse and this verse. Let's get some more verses and see how many. If we catch you with one, if we catch you with one. You know, I'm shooting, shooting, shooting. You miss, you miss. Give me your rifle. Let me shoot, shoot. And then I hit you a headshot. You're dead. So I don't care about the 9 shots that I missed. It's the 1 shot that I got you. At the end of that, you're dead and gone. I don't care if you, brother, you missed 9 times. Yeah, but I got him the 10th time. So he's done. 18, chapter 18, verse 54 to 57. Chapter 18, verse 54 to 57. Let's see what we got there. See if we got some sunnah there. 18:54 to 57. And certainly we have made distinct in this Quran for mankind every kind of description. And man is in most things contentious. You want to run off at the mouth. You want to contend. We done made you in this Quran every kind of this description. You name it, description of this, description of that, to answer situations for you, to make things clear for you by means of metaphor, parable, of whatever, saying different ways and one thing after the other. So this becomes clear to you. But in mankind, in most things, you want to contend. You want to run off at the mouth. You want to be contentious, you see? And verse 55, and nothing prevents men from believing when the guidance, when al-Huda comes to them. When what comes to them? Not Quran and Sunnah, not Quran and Sunnah. When al-Huda, Allah says, he it is, 93, 9 verse, chapter 9, verse 33. He it is who sent his messenger with al-Huda and the Deen al-Haq. We talked about that the last time, al-Huda. So what? He sent him with al-Huda and the Deen al-Haq. And nothing prevents man from believing when al-Huda comes to them, and for asking forgiveness of their Lord for the foolishness that you were doing and the lies that you were spreading. But they wait for the ways of the ancients to overtake them, and the chastisement should confront them. You're just waiting. You're waiting. You're waiting. What boldness we're going to talk about, the boldness you show for the fire, that even these verses, you don't care. You don't care if Allah threaten you about the fire or nothing. You're going to keep doing what you're doing. You don't care about the fire. The boldness. We're going to talk about that. Verse 56. And we sent not messengers, but as givers of good news and warners. And those who disbelieve contend with what? Falsehood, to weaken thereby the truth. And they take my messages and my warning for mockery. For mockery. They take for mockery. Look at that. They contend with falsehood. Brother, yeah, the prophet left with you 2 things, the Quran and Sunnah. That's falsehood. And whoever holds to them, he will never, 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 ever go astray for now and forever. That's contending with falsehood to weaken the truth. What? The truth is, this Quran has been left with you, that you hold on to it. And this is the only thing that you hold on to. We gave the lecture about holding fast to Allah. We talked about that. So now they take my messages and my warning for mockery. My messages and my warnings for mockery. The message. You take the message for mockery. 57. And who is more unjust? Who is more unjust than he who is reminded of the messages of his Lord? You're reminded, you will remember what I said to you. You're reminded of the message of his Lord. Then he turns away from them and forgets what his hands have sent before. Who's more unjust? Who's more unjust? That's a rhetorical question. A rhetorical question. Allah's answered it. Then the one who what? Who turns away from the messages and forgets what his hands had sent before. Surely we have placed veils over their hearts, lest they understand it, and deafness in their ears. And if thou call them to the truth, if you call them to the guidance, they will never ever follow the right course. If you call them to Al Huda, they're not going to listen. They're not going to listen. If you call them to Al Huda, they don't want to hear. What boldness they show for the fire. We don't get, excuse me. I want to, I'll be wanting to get loose on you for a minute. But no, we don't care nothing about no fire. Fire, no stinking fire. So, there's no sunnah there. Oh, well, let's take a look at chapter 43, verse 40 to 45. 43, 40 to 45. Let's see if we can see the second thing, two things, the sunnah. Let's see the sunnah. The Quran is saying no. What he said from some hadith or someplace is what he's following. That's what the world of Muslims are following, Sunni Islam, Sunniism. And he said not only the sunnah, but the sunnah the way it was practiced during the time of the prophet, not what you're doing now. He said the mess you're doing now is confusing people. He's admitting that this sunnah mess that you're doing is confusing the people. It's not the sunnah. You got to go back to the sunnah like the prophet when he used to sit down and use rocks when he went to the bathroom and eat with his fingers, nails, fingernails, and all that after digging in the dirt and all that. And whatever he did, whatever the Arabs did and all of that, that's what you got to go back to, all of mankind. Go back to that. We don't need this modern world that you got now, flying around in private jets and stuff. Go back and get you some camels and cut down all these trees and fire and buildings and stuff, and just let the forest grow, the desert, and we live like that. That's the sunnah we want, not the sunnah you got today. So let's take a look. 43, 40 to 45. Canst thou make the deaf to hear, or guide the blind, and him who is in what? Clear error. The law mubin. The law mubin. Can listen to that. Canst thou make the deaf to hear, or guide the blind, and him who is the law mubin? Either we or you are on Huda or the law mubin. So you can't, the guy who's not on Huda, he's the law mubin. You can't do nothing with him. That's what it's basically saying. So if we take thee away, still we will extract retribution from them. If we cause you to die or depart from them in some way or another, we'll get them. We got them, don't worry. We're going to get them. Or we shall show thee that which we promised them. We'll let you be around and you'll see it firsthand. Surely we are possessors of power over them. So hold fast. Look at this. So hold fast. So hold fast to that which is revealed to thee. Surely thou art on the right path. You're on the Sirat al-Mustaqim. So hold fast to what? That which is revealed to you. That which is revealed to you. The Quran. Hold fast to that. Not hold fast to the Sunnah. Not as long as you hold fast to the Sunnah. As long as you hold the two things. As long as you hold fast to them. As long as you hold fast to them. No, not no two things. So hold fast to that which is revealed to you. Surely you are on the Sirat al-Mustaqim. And ask those of our messengers whom we sent before thee, did we ever appoint gods to be worshipped besides the beneficent? So what? Hold fast. This, I mean, how clear could it be? Allah is telling the messenger, hold fast to that which is revealed to you. You are on the Sirat al-Mustaqim by holding fast to what's revealed to you. We don't need no sunnah to get on the Sirat al-Mustaqim and all that. So if we hold fast to the same thing, if we do the same thing, hold fast to what is revealed, we'll be on the Sirat al-Mustaqim also. What sunnah do we need? Allah didn't put the sunnah there. That's very strange. Let's take a look at 2791 to 92. I got a couple more. Maybe we'll get one of them here. 2791 to 92. 2791 to 92. 91. I am commanded only. I'm commanded only to serve the Lord of the city, who has made it sacred, and his are all things. His are all things. Everything is his. All knowledge, all wisdom, all guidance, all seeing, all hearing, all whatever is his. Everything belongs to him. And I am commanded to be of those who submit. I submit. I'm submitting. I'm submitting. I'm not submitting to my sunnah. I'm not submitting to my sunnah, the Quran and my sunnah. I'm submitting to the Quran. I'm submitting to, look, and to recite the Quran. And I'm committed to recite the Quran. So whoever goes aright, he goes aright for his own soul. And whoever goes astray, say, I'm only one of the warners. That's all. I'm one of the warners. I got nothing to do with no hadith and sunnah. I'm not here to be holding on to two things, hadith and sunnah. That's a lie. You're a liar. The guy lied. He's a liar. And all the Sunni Muslims and all of that, that's what y'all follow in that hadith. Y'all all liars. Y'all all liars. What's wrong with you? I was one of them. I was one of them. 30 some years hardcore. Hardcore. Not the weak stuff like you guys now doing, the Sunni stuff. We had to come up through the ranks when it was kind of hardcore here in New York City, in the hood. It wasn't easy to be trying to practice no Islam and running around here the way we were doing, you understand, trying to drill ourselves like we some ancient Arabs or something, bringing religion to New York. You see, we had something different, not this little easy cakewalk thing that y'all doing. You see, so I know what it is. I know what you believe. I know what you've been taught. All of that. You see, you don't know what I'm into. You don't know this Quran alone. You don't know that. You have no idea about what the Quran says. Nothing. So now I'm giving these verses right now, and you can get a chance to listen, if you will. But it's only for one person. It's one person I'm trying to get reached to, and hopefully it will reach somebody in some part of the world. Somebody will be reached. So, let's take a look. Chapter 50, verse 45. Chapter 50, verse 45. Chapter 50, verse 45. We know best what they say, and thou art not one to compel them. So remind by means of the Quran him who fears my threat. We know best what they say. You can read it in context. I'm just reading the text now. You go back and read in context. The brother's reading it out of context. Well, that's what a context is. Reading out of context is reading the text out of the context. That's what I mean. I'm not changing the sense of what it says. So I'm reading the text. I'm reading in the text. You go back and read the Arabic, study it, and see if it says anything different. And if it does, then next time when we have a Zoom, you come on and say, brother, what you said before was wrong, and here's why it's wrong. Not that I disagree and I have a different opinion. We don't care nothing about your opinion or my opinion. Nobody cares about opinion, mine or yours. We only care about the truth. We're about the truth, the facts of the matter. That's all we're interested in. Not my opinion or your opinion. We know best what they say, and thou art not one to compel them. You're not to make them do nothing. You can't make them do nothing. Brother, if you don't come out for Fajr, we'll burn your house down. we'll burn your house down. Brother, if you don't so and so and so on, we'll beat you until you makes the law. If you don't make the law, we'll chop your head off. We'll do so and so. You're not one to compel them. What are you talking about? So remind by means of the Quran, not by means of the Quran and Sunnah. By means of the Quran, whoever fears my threat. Remind them by means of the Quran only, not Quran and Sunnah. Uh, let's take a look at chapter 75, verse 16 to 19. This will kind of shore up that it's not for you to be running off at the mouth about no Sunnah and all that kind of business here. And then I got one more verse for that, and we'll move on. 16. Move not your tongue therewith to make haste with it. With this Quran, don't move your tongue to make haste with it. In whatever manner that is, that's not my business. Yeah, I'm just reading what the verse says. It's sufficient for me to think that calm down. For me, I think the law is telling the messenger, calm down, just take it easy. Calm down. That's the way I translate that in the modern language. Move not thy tongue to make haste with it. In other words, calm down. Surely on us rests the collecting of it and the reciting of it. We recite it. We recite it. We collect it and we recite it. We collect it and we recite it. You're not where are you to be reciting the Quran? The Quran has to be recited to you. Has to be recited to you. So don't just calm down. Listen to what's being recited. Again, on us rests the explaining of it, the bayan, the making it clear. On us, we make it clear. We don't need you to make no sunnah to make nothing clear. We don't need your sunnah to make something clear. Well, brother, what is this? Well, you need the sunnah. You need the sunnah to make that clear. You wouldn't know. Allah says, on us, we explain it. We explain it. So when we recite it, I'll skip the verse. So when we recite it, you follow its recitation. You follow it. You follow it either by reciting what we're telling you to recite or and by doing what you're being told and doing the recital. And we explain it. So don't you try to be explaining nothing. There's nothing for you to explain. Chapter 2, verse 272. Your duty is not to guide by explaining and sunnah and all that. But Allah guides whomever He please. And the last verse I'm going to use in this vein is 1773. 1773. 1773. 1773. And surely they had proposed to turn thee away from that which we have revealed to thee, that thou shouldest forge against us other than that, and they would have taken thee for a friend. And if we had not made thee firm, thou mightest have indeed inclined to them a little. They wanted to turn you away from this Quran alone and make you forge something. Brother, can you bring a Quran other than this or change this? Allah said, this is not a hadith that could be forged or changed, not for me to change in my own accord. And you might would have inclined to them because you're trying to win them over and look, well, maybe, I don't know. Allah knows your heart. So Allah said, you might, that's what Allah said, you might have inclined to them a little, but we made you firm. You see, we made you firm. You might have inclined to them a little. So there's no sunnah It's only what you were told to reveal. So now let's go back to the brother's statement. Back to his statement, which I have here outlined on the paper here, which I took out of his speech and made sure I get him word for word. So he says, look, after talking, he said, I leave you with the Quran, I leave you with my Sunnah, so long as you hold fast on these two things. These two things. He says, not Quran and Sunnah, how you understand it. Not Quran and Sunnah, what you think is good and bad. No, no, no. Quran and Sunnah, how the Prophet of Allah and his companions understood it. This is what he's talking about. Not Quran and Sunnah, how you understand it. Not how you understand it. No, not how your mind. What are you trying to use your mind? Have you lost your mind? You trying to think? Somebody told you you could think? You're not to think about nothing. You just do what you're told. Don't use your mind to think. Allah says He gave you hearing, sight, and intellect. Well, that's all right, but don't be using that for this. Use that, you understand, you want to build a chicken house, chicken thing for your chickens, to nest in. Do that. You want to build some little thing around the house, a little den or something. Do that. Don't come to the Quran using your mind. What's wrong with you? You see? So he says, so long as you hold fast to these three things, not Quran and Sunnah, how you understand it. Not like that. How you understand it. How what? You understand it. Not the way you understand it. The way I understand it. Not him. He said the way the Sahaba back 1400 years ago or whatever that was, the way they understood it. Go find them and ask them how they understood it. According to Abu Hurairah, he said he understood. He said, she said, everybody said they understood it. The madhab, the fiqh, the different schools, how they understood it. That's what we're talking about. Go back and dig up all that information, not what you're doing. It says, not Quran and Sunnah, what you think is good and bad. No, no, no. Quran and Sunnah, how the Prophet of Allah and his companions understood it. What you doing is some foolishness today. That's what he's saying. So let's take a look and see if that's the case. Let's take a look and see if that's the case. Let's look at chapter 22, verse 78. Twenty-two 78. 22:78. And strive hard for Allah with due striving. He has chosen for you and not laid upon you any hardship in religion. The faith of your father Abraham. He named you Muslims before and in this, that the messenger may be a bearer of witness to you, and that you may be bearers of witness to the people. So keep up prayer and pay the poor rate and hold fast. I'm using those terms. And hold what? Hold fast to Allah. Hold fast to Allah. So he says, as long as you hold, the brother says, I leave with you two things, the Sunnah, my Sunnah, so long as you hold fast on these two things. So long as you hold fast on these two things. That's what the brother said in the Hadith. So long as you hold fast on what? These two things. So what somebody's lying. Somebody's lying. Either he's calling this, what Allah said, a lie, error. He's calling Allah a liar, or he's lying. Whether he's intentionally lying, he doesn't know, he's misguided. That's not my business. Not my business. My business is detecting lies. I'm a lie detector. And so I don't care if you lied. Look, the thing, look, I don't care why you lied. It's that you lied. And so now you got caught. Somebody else can interrogate you and ask you, brother, why did you lie? I just catch the liars and send them over into the liars' booth. You're in the booth with the liars. So look, it says, look, and keep a prayer and hold fast to Allah. He is your what? Your protector. Excellent is the protector, and not only that, what? Excellent the helper. Helper. He's your protector. Protect you. Can you imagine? Protect you, and then on top of that, help you. Well, wouldn't help you be part of protecting you? But he just double downs. He doubles downs on this. He's sufficient as a guide and a helper. 25:31. I'm sufficient as a guide and a helper. Here, I'm sufficient as your protector and your helper. Hold fast to Allah. That's included Muhammad. Muhammad is told that. He's to hold fast to Allah. Muhammad is. Not to hold fast to Quran and Sunnah. You lied. You're a liar. You're a liar. You're lying. You're lying. And everybody in the world today who's doing all that sunnah whole that based on that hadith are liars. You're all liars. And you're all misguided and you're all headed for hell because you're mushriks. But you don't want to listen. You're not going to listen. Even these verses of the Quran, you're not going to listen. You have no retort to them. You have nothing to say. You're just going to follow because that's what you've been trained to do. You've been trained to do that, not taught, trained. You've been trained. 399 to 102. 399 to 102. He says, hold fast to these two things. Hold fast to these two things. So long as you hold fast to these two things. If you don't hold fast to these two things, according to him, you're dead in the water. You go talking about Quran by itself. You have no chance. So somebody's lying here. So chapter 3, verse 99 to 102. O people of the book, O people of the book, why do you hinder those who believe from the way of Allah, seeking to make it crooked, while you are witnesses, and Allah is not heedless of what you do? O you who believe, if you obey a party from among those who have been given the book, they will turn you back turn you back as disbelievers after you believe. And how can you disbelieve? Look, this is a rhetorical question again. Rhetorical question. Allah loves to use these rhetorical questions, mean that you don't have to answer it. Just think about what it's saying. It's indicting you. It's indicting you. And how can you disbelieve while you are recited the messages of Allah, and among you is his messenger? And whoever holds fast to Allah, he indeed is guided to the right path. Sirat al-Mustaqim. Look at that. Look at that. How can you disbelieve? Allah is asking, how can you, wait a minute. How could you do that? Don't answer because I'm answering for you right here now. The messages being recited to you. The messages are being recited to you, and the messenger is right here among you. He's reciting the message to you, and he's right here. He's not telling you about no hadith and sunnah. He's not telling you about sunnah. He's reciting the messages. He's right here, and he's not telling you follow my hold fast to my sunnah. If he's saying hold fast to my sunnah, how could he say this? And whoever hold fast to Allah indeed is guided to the right path. How could he say that and then be saying hold fast to my sunnah? You think he would say that? That's a blatant bald-faced lie right there. You jam. You jam right there on that verse. The whole Muslim world is doomed on that verse right there. How could a messenger be telling you to follow my sunnah when he's telling you to I'm reciting the messages and hold fast to Allah? How do you hold fast to Allah? Allah's walking somewhere and you want to grab him, hold him, and all that? No. You hold fast to this revelation that he sent down to you. So you're a liar. You're a liar. Simple as that. What about 4? 175 to 176. For 175 to 176. Hold fast to these two things. Let's see if it's got two things in it. So the man lied. And why am I making such a fuss of this? Because that's the lie of the whole Sunni world. The whole Sunni world has this second source material based on a hadith like this, the Shahada, of course. We know the Shahada and all this other mess, but they got this hadith here. It's got them jammed. This hadith has got them jammed. And they claim that was his farewell speech. And he said that to the people, and everybody heard it. And this is what he left them with this note. The last thing I'm going to say to you is this: as long as you hold fast to two things, after all this revelation and all this time he spent teaching, bringing the Quran and practicing the Quran, then at the end, when he get ready to leave, he said, "Oh yeah, hold fast to my Sunnah. Hold fast to my Sunnah. Don't just trust this Quran. Hold fast to my Sunnah." Chapter 4, verse 175, 176, we said, "O people, manifest proof has indeed come to you from your Lord, and we have sent down to you a clear light." We've sent down to you a clear light. Light is always singular in the Quran. It's not clear lights. It's singular, a clear light. Then, as for those who believe in Allah and hold fast by Him, those who believe in Allah, the clear light. So how you gonna? Allah just told you now how you're gonna hold fast to Him by the clear light that He sent down. That's how you're gonna hold to Him by holding on to the clear light that He sent down. That's how you hold fast to Him. Then, as for those who believe in Allah and hold fast by Him, He will admit them to His mercy and grace and guide them to what? Himself on a right path. Guide them to Himself on a right path. Look at that. Guide them to Himself on a right path. He will guide them to Himself on the right path. Muhammad is included. Muhammad is included. He's not excluded. You see, where you make a mistake, you think he's excluded because he has this separate and distinct situation. No, he's to abide by this verse as well. He's included. Remember that. He's included. He's included in the Quran position, the Quran only position. If you read that, that's what it is. In your Sunniism and your fake religion that you made, that you hijacked and put together from whatever madhabs and Wahhabis and Salafis and whatever business that you're doing, this is your business, it's not mine. I don't care nothing about it. I'm just saying that's some hijack mess that you got messed up with. And some of the so-called people who follow the Quran alone has got part of that. They're getting part of this mess that you got as well. They got part of the Quran and part of some of that stuff that you got. And they're just as bad. They're in the same boat. They're in the same boat. Now, you said the Sunnah. So by the Sunnah, you mean the tradition, tradition. You follow the tradition of Muhammad. The Sunnah is the tradition, the way, the path, or whatever. Well, Allah rules out and condemns outright following tradition for guidance. Following tradition for guidance, Allah says, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Let's take a look. Chapter 31, verses 20 to 24. 31, 20 to 24. This is for the new Muslims who got time to sit down and your life is at stake. You got your family and your children and all that. They want to become Muslims. They trust in you. Baby, I think we want to become Muslims and all that. You sure the women have to wear all this black stuff and cover up and walk around the men and all that, and their stuff dragging on the ground and all that. And the brothers have to have their beard red with fire red and wearing their pants way up on their ankles like they high tops, high waters, and walk around and do all this kind of thing like that. You sure you want to join that? You want to become that? So the brother says, yeah, well, that's what it is. They've been talking to me and telling to tell me come down to the mosque and come down and listen and all of that. He said, well, look, I see this brother over here. There's a channel over here. Only the truth matters. And there's a brother over there, Hamza Abdul Malik. He's telling us and he's saying to the people, especially new people like us, be careful. I said, have you checked him out? No, I never heard him, but I'll check him out. I'll check him out. And then I checked out and said, what the world? He can get is he right? How could he be right? Look what all these other people saying. But honey, he's quoting the verses to you from the Quran. He's quoting the verses. The verses got to be right. He's saying that these people here are liars because they're contradicting the Quran. He said, wow, I think that's right. He might be saved from that. We'll see. That was my imaginary person. Like Paul said, some man might say, how are the dead raised and what kind of body do they come? He said, thy fool. In other words, he made up a man, then called him a fool. Fool. Anyway, that was my imaginary family there. 31:20-24. See you not that Allah has made subservient to you whatsoever is in the heavens and whatsoever is in the earth, and granted you his favor complete outwardly and inwardly. And among men is he who disputes concerning the law. What? Without knowledge or guidance or a book given light. Without knowledge or guidance or a book given light. He wants to dispute about a law. Next verse. And when it is said to them, follow that which Allah has revealed. Very easy. Follow that which Allah has revealed. They say, no, we followed that wherein we found our fathers. That's what we follow. We're not following what Allah revealed. What do we look like? We're following what Allah. We're following tradition. This is what our fathers used to do. Our fathers and great fathers and uncles. This has been passed down by years. You think we're going to stop doing that and do this new thing you talking to? Make it you the gods one? We never heard of this before. We follow that wherein we found our fathers. What? What? Though the devil calls them to the chastisement of the burning fire? And whoever submits himself to Allah and does good, he indeed takes hold to what? The firmest handle. This is the firmest handle. What? Whoever submits himself to Allah. That's Muhammad is included. Muhammad is included. He says, I've been commanded to submit myself to Allah and to recite the Quran. He's included. Whoever submits himself to Allah and does good, whoever, he indeed takes hold to the firmest handle, and Allah is the end of affairs. He takes hold of the firmest handle. And whoever disbelieves, let not his disbelief grieve thee. To us there is their return, and we shall inform them of what they did. Surely Allah is knower of what they did. Surely Allah is knower of what is in the breast. Verse 24, we give them to enjoy a little, then we shall drive them to a severe chastisement. Isn't that something? So whoever holds fast, takes hold of to Allah, has the firmest handle. What? Because Allah has sent down the message for you. Not no hadith and sunnah. The prophet was to do the same thing. He can't be talking about, I'm doing that, yet here's my sunnah to explain all the stuff, and you can't know the Quran without the sunnah and all that. What are you talking about? What kind of crazy stuff is that? What kind of crazy stuff is that? Uh, 43, 43, 20-25. Let's see if we can get some Sunnah in here. Maybe it's something we overlook. 43, chapter 20, 25. And they make the angels who are the servants of the beneficent females. Did they witness their creation? Their evidence will be recorded and they will be questioned. And they say, if the beneficent had pleased, we should not have worshiped them. They have no knowledge of this. They only what? Lie. They only lie. Or have we given them a book before it so that they hold fast to it? Have we gave you a book before it so that you hold fast to it? He said, well, yeah, we have the Sunnah. We have Hadith Qudsi. We have Hadith Qudsi. We have, yeah, we hold fast to that. We have Hadith Qudsi. Have we given, that's a rhetorical question. You're not supposed to answer that. Or have we given them a book that they hold fast to? Nay, nay. They say we found our fathers on a course, and surely we are guided by their footsteps. We don't have no book. We don't have no book. We found our fathers on a course, and we're guided by their footsteps. And thus we send not before thee a warner in a town, but its wealthy ones said, surely we found our fathers following a religion, and we follow their footsteps. We found our fathers following a religion, so we follow their footsteps. And even if I bring you a better guide, the warner said, even if I bring you a better guide, better than that which you found your fathers following, they said, we surely disbelieve in that which you have sent. We don't care nothing about no better God. We don't care what you bring us. What you sent with from Allah, we don't care nothing about that. This is what tradition. We follow tradition. This is our tradition. This is the Sunnah and that we're following. The Sunnah of those before us. Their tradition. We're following that. So we exacted retribution from them and see what was the end of the rejectors. You got jammed. You got jammed for lying. Last verse here, 43, 36 to 45. The last verse in this situation. The last verse. That's maybe that might be the one that trips us up on. I don't know. Let's take a look and see. Somebody said, look at this. Somebody said, look at this verse. 43, 36 to 45. And whoever turns himself away from the remembrance of the beneficent, we'll appoint for him a devil. So he is his associate. Whoever turns himself from the remembrance of the beneficent, the remembrance of the beneficent, not the remembrance of the beneficent and his messenger, not the remembrance of the beneficent and his messenger, the beneficent and the beneficent junior, somebody, not that. Whoever turns himself away from the remembrance of the beneficent, we appoint for him a devil. He's appointed a devil. He is your associate. He's your Sahaba. And surely they have hindered them from the right path. They hinder them from the right path. And they think that they are guided aright. They think that they're guided aright. All this mess that they're doing, they think, well, this is right. How could it be wrong? Look at all the people doing it. Everybody's doing this. Everybody's got this. Look at the costumes and all of this kind of thing. And you little people over here, what are y'all talking about? This little mess that just started here. Yeah, Quran alone people. This is, you think Allah is telling you that, not me. Allah knows your heart. He appoints for you a devil, and you think that you're rightly guided. When you come to us, he says, oh, would that between me and thee, there was the distance of the east and the west, so evil is his associate. Evil is his associate. Evil is associate. And as you did wrong, it will profit you naught this day that you are sharers in the chastisement. 40. Canst thou make the deaf to hear or guide the blind to him who is in clear error, the lawful being? Can you do that? So if we take thee away, still we will extract retribution from them. We read this before. Or we will cause thee that we shall show you that which we have promised them. Surely we are possessed of power over all things. So hold fast to that which we have revealed to thee. Surely thou art on the right path. And surely it is a reminder for thee and for thy people. It's a reminder for their people to remind them to hold fast to this Quran only, not Sunnah and all that. Not as long as you hold fast to them, you'll be got it. You will be questioned. You will be questioned. And finally, and ask those of our messengers whom we sent before thee, did we ever appoint gods to be served beside the beneficent? So that's the gist of the answer to what he said, although let me just read out the rest of his statement. The rest of his statement, he says, applies to their lives, the Quran and Sunnah. Your Quran and Sunnah is confusing the world. That's what he's saying. Your Quran and Sunnah that you're doing is confusing the world. The Quran and Sunnah that you practicing today, that you're not going back to the old school days of Sahaba and all of that, you're confusing the world. That's what you're doing. He's indicting you. He's one himself. He's indicting you. No, no, no. I'm talking about the Quran of Rasulullah and the Sunnah of Rasulullah that changed and conquered humanity. The Quran and Sunnah, you must come back to that. That's what he said. So therefore, I think we have answered that situation for them. But let me just show you something else here. Relate to something else here. Uh, how Allah uses rhetorical questions. Rhetorical questions. This will only take a few minutes. Allah uses rhetorical questions to destroy any idea of Sunnah, of Sunnah, of Sunnah, of Sunnah. Allah destroys it himself with rhetorical questions, questions that you don't need to answer. He put the question and then he answered, and your Sunnah is gone. Rhetorical question. I'll talk about this a little more in detail perhaps later on. I'm just going to speed it up for right now because I'm talking to that one person, and that one person got enough on his plate now to listen to. I'm not talking to all you guys out there who ain't got no time. Look, I heard that. We heard this. What is this? It's not, man, don't know no Arabic and you went to school nowhere and all that. I'm not talking to you. Your behind will burn. You'll burn later on and you will remember what I say. You'll burn. You have no argument. Plus, we put out that challenge for you already. You and your sheikhs and your scholars, ain't nobody stepped up and said nothing. You kept your mouth shut, as you should do. Keep your mouth shut, as you should do. You're an enemy of Allah, and you're my enemy also. Enemy, intellectually. You haven't did nothing to me. Intellectually, you're lying against the law, and so therefore you're showing boldness for the fire. What boldness you show for the fire? What? In that you will lie against the law, even though he threatens you with the fire, you're gonna keep doing what you're doing until you die. That's boldness. You don't care. I don't care about no fire. Rhetorical questions. We said that destroy any idea of Sunnah. Oh, everybody knows this famous one, 45, 6 to 11. 45, 6 to 11. This gets rid of your Sunnah, your two things. I left with you two things, the book, the Quran and the Sunnah. So this rhetorical question, which is rhetorical, you don't have to answer it. Allah answers it, and it blows away your Sunnah. He already knows. It's like one day for him. He knows that you will say this, and so he puts this verses in the Quran to get you jammed already. These are the messages of Allah which we recite the truth with truth. And what hadith will they then trust or believe after Allah and His ayats? These are the messages of Allah, the ayats of Allah. we recite to you truthfully and truth. In what hadith, in what hadith will they then believe after Allah and his signs? After Allah and his signs, what hadith will you believe? Excuse me, yeah, Allah and his signs is not enough for you? What hadith will you believe? Well, brother, they got hadith Qudsi, Qudus, the holy hadith. And we have the Hadith Sitta, Sahih Sitta, the 6 volumes of Hadith works. And we got all these tafsirs and all that kind of stuff. What are you talking about? You misunderstand this verse. We sing this in our prayer. We don't follow that. We sing this in our prayer, and when we make our prayer, we sing this verse, and we're not following that. We're following this over here. So stop singing this. Excuse me, brother. Did you know what you just said there in that song you just sang? No, I just didn't know the lyrics. Look what it says. These are the messages of Allah we recite to you with truth. And what hadith would you believe after Allah and His ayah? It says, woe to every sinful liar. Woe to every sinful liar who hears the messages of Allah recited to him and persists in haughtiness as though he had not heard them, as he had not heard them. So announce to him a painful chastisement. Announce that to him, and that's what I'm doing to you. I'm announcing to you a painful chastisement. You just sat here and heard the messages recited to you against what that brother said. I left you 2 things. As long as he quoted part of the verse from the beginning, but we gave it to him. We gave him the whole verse 5:3. We gave it to him because that indicts him anyway. And then we indicted him on and on and on. And now we're indicting him with these rhetorical questions. Whoever hears the message of Allah, who hears the message of Allah and recites to them and persists in haughtiness as though he had not heard them, and so announce them paying for chastisement. And when he comes to know of any of our messages, he takes them for a jest, like a joke. It's like a joke. For such is an abuse and chastisement. In front of them is hell. This is what Allah is saying about them, the people with the Sunnah. In front of them is hell, and that which they have earned will avail them naught, nor those who take for protectors besides Allah. And for them is a grievous chastisement. This is guidance. And those who disbelieve in the messages of their Lord, for them is a painful chastisement of an evil kind. So Allah has indicted them right there. What hadith do you want after Allah and His ayats? You heard this over and over again. We talked about it over again. Here's another rhetorical verse that indicts your Sunnah, that calls you a liar. All you Sunni Muslims on the planet Earth, all of you are liars. All of you are mushriks. All of you are kuffars. Simple as that. That's what the Quran says. That's what the Quran says. You don't have what you arguing is some mess that you made up. You can't argue from the Quran about nothing, about no second sources and shirk, all that stuff. The Quran is totally against that. You have to argue that from that mess you made up. 34:24. 34:24. We know that verse. It's right here on my shirt. Either we or you are on Hudan of the Law being. Believe that. Either we or you are on Hudan or the Law being. 34:24. Say, who gives you substance from the heavens and the earth? Say, Allah. Allah gives us substance from the heaven and earth. Sustenance. Whatever sustains you. Sustenance is whatever sustains you. So we don't need no sunnah to sustain you. Allah gave you what sustains you in the Quran. In terms of your salvation, your guidance, it's all in the Quran to sustain you. Whatever you want to do in your secular life and all of that, that's your business. You do what you please. Say, who gives you sustenance from the heaven and the earth? Say Allah. Surely we or you are on Hudan, Al-Huda, Hudan, of the Law Mubin. Clear error. Clear error. That's a Mukam verse. It's a Mukam verse. It's very clear. It doesn't need anything rhetorical. 10:35. Another verse that gets to work, gets rid of your hadith and sunnah, your sunnah business. It gets rid of it. It destroys it. It's a rhetorical question. You don't have to answer it. Allah just blows it away and leaves it at that, and you just suck it up and eat it, and go do whatever you please. You can't do nothing about it. Say, is there any of your associate gods who guide to the truth? Say, Allah guides to the truth. Allah alone. He guides to what? Al-Haq, the truth. Whatever the truth is, Allah guides to it. There's no sunnah that's truth, a separate kind of truth that needs Muhammad to guide you to that. Is he then who guides to the truth more worthy to be followed, or he who knows not the way unless he is guided? 93 7, we found you was Darlene and we guided you. Muhammad was the law and he was guided, so he's ruled out right there. That verse rules him out completely, got him out of it. You're not worthy to be followed. You're not worthy to be followed to hold fast to you. Get out of here. This verse is doing you in. Is he then who finds not the way unless he is guided? What is the matter with you and how do you judge? And most of them follow naught but conjecture. Surely conjecture will not avail aught against the truth. Truly Allah know what they do. They know what they do. And the last one I'll use is 6:115. 6:115. I have more of this talk I can do, but I think I did enough. I tend to overkill, go over, but I intend to make sure that I squash my opponent. I want to squash him. I don't want you to open your mouth and say nothing. I want to squash you dead on arrival. I want when you show up dead on arrival. So excuse me, rushing to the hospital when they got there, said, what's his condition? He was dead on arrival. He was dead on arrival. Nothing we could do for him. They got that brother Hamza, and he showed up dead on arrival. No. Chapter 6, verse 115. And 114 is there. Shall I then seek a judge other than Allah when he it is who sent down to you the book? What? Explained in detail, fully detailed. Shall I seek a judge? That's what the prophet said. I'm seeking a judge for what? For a judgment. For a judgment to satisfy some condition that I need. I need to know something. Other than Allah, when he has sent down to you the book, fully detailed. And those to whom we have given the book know that it is revealed by thy Lord with truth. So be not of the disputers. And the word of thy Lord has been accomplished truly and justly. There's none who can change his words. And he is the hearer, the knower. So with that, I'll end this discussion. As I said before, this was a discussion for the new Muslim, for the new Muslim, for the brother who's going to come, the sister who's going to come and get their families involved in what they think is Islam. A lot of them are going to do it anyway. Even if they hear this, they will still do it because Shaitan whispers. Shaitan has got them. Shaitan is heavy, hardcore. He's a hardcore adversary. Allah has warned us against him. So even though he said, I'll lay on the straight path for them. I'm going to lay on them the straight path and get them off it. I'm not laying out on those side streets and all that. Excuse me, let's take the side street. We can avoid Shaitan. Shaitan don't care because you're on the side street. You're off the straight path. He's going to get on the straight path for you. So is there anybody, I know there's not folks out there listening too heavy, but if there's anybody who hears me right now and would want to ask a question about something that I just said, I'll entertain that question. If not, then I'll close. No questions? I appreciate that because really, there's no questions that's needed. You see, I love to give talks where I don't get no question because I try to make it so you don't have to answer no question. Like Allah said, don't ask about things if you know if you ask the Quran and made it clear already. So there's nothing to ask questions about. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wassalamun ala al-mursalin. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Thanks for your.